Hey guys, before we get into week 5 of the MPL, we are going to do a quick lightning recap of week 4 because sadly, audio things happened and I really do want to cover week 4, so here we go. So our first match is the Phoenix Suncurrents versus Phoenix Flores. Obviously the superior Phoenix team won this time. The Phoenix Suncurrents won 2-0. Basically, a lot of plays happened, and Riz didn't win. Let's just sum it up. The superior Phoenix team won. The next match that we had was the Brisbane Brainlums versus the Toronto Star Raptors, and Brisbane Brainlums won 2-0 with a shiny Raikou bluffing the Rash Nature. The next match that we're going to be talking about is the Boston Beauties versus the New Jersey Jewels, and the Boston Beauties won 4-0 with the combination of Mega B being very offensively present and Gujo just being like, "Hi, how you doing?" Also, Shaman got a kill. Freaking Shaman. Okay, our next match is going to be the New York McTains versus the Austin Tauroses, where Razor finally got his first win this week. Congratulations, Razor. And it was nice and beautiful. Mega Latios being fat and bulky and just basically cleaning up the game. Alright, after that, the match was St. Louis Restaurants versus the Atlanta Braviaries, where the St. Louis Restaurants just stay dominant and get a 2-0 victory, even though Atlanta did bring the sand's nothing, as basically the restaurants were able to clean up with a combination of Mega Gardevoir plus Infernape plus, Magzone getting the kill. The next matchup is the San Antonio Swamperts versus the Los Angeles Needle Kings. San Antonio Swamperts won because of a Focus Blast miss that happened very early on in the game, putting Houndoom in range so we can actually live a Focus Blast from a +1, or it was +1? Yeah, it was +1 renewal list. So, yeah, that's what happened. And the next one is the Cindy Torpedoes versus the Florida Alligators, and my boy Gypsy King getting the Weavile kills to sum up the game. Braylon can't do nothing. Other things can't do anything. It's just that's game. That's basic game. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about the Arizona Caravanas versus the Detroit Lifehards. And yeah, basically, let's sum this one up really quick. Make a big bird, gone. But basically, having so many times 4 weaknesses onto this team, Mega Big Bird was able to pick off almost every single mon. Garchomp was able to pick up a kill, and the flinching core of Jirachi and Togekiss was able to basically be annoying enough to allow Toge to win. So this was your lightning recap for week 4 of the MPL. Hope you guys do enjoy week 5. And yeah, let's just cue that sexy intro music.
Welcome everybody to week 5 of the NPL. My host Carnie with me, and we're going to be doing the weekly recap. And quick shout outs to that nice intro music. So Carnie, how do you think these matches?
These matches, some of them were highly competitive, some of them were heartbreaking defeats, some of them were, well, some of them were just Rizzy Pal, let's be honest.
Yeah, of course. And also, we got the NPL Minors starting up, and yeah, you've definitely had that successful week 1 game.
Well, yeah, the video will be up soon for that. Sadly, the video will be up like on a Thursday, I think it is, whatever. So, hey, that's all good. But yeah, my week 1 match went pretty successfully. To an extent, but if you guys want to look about that some more, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and then you'll see my week 1 minus matchup. But barring that, how about we just hop into the recap, shall we?
Yeah, so now you're going to be seeing teams definitely fight for playoff spots, because even though playoffs aren't quite there yet, it's going to be make it or break it for a few players that are starting to fall behind. So we're going to be starting off with the Phoenix Sunkerns and versus the San Antonio Swampers. They're both 2-2. They've both shown some pretty good things on both sides, and you're going to see immediately, the pressure as always with the Kyurem Black, the Mega Blastoise, Tyranitar, Talonflame on the Sunkerns end versus the San Antonio Swampers with Heliolisk, Fortress, Suicune, Landorus Eye, Alakazam, and Roserade. So we see that the San Antonio Swampers really patching up kind of the Hazard Week team, and now has a Rapid Spinner. And, I would think if I'm the Swampers, I wanted to maybe lead off with Lead Fortress or something along those lines. Immediately pressure, break the sash of the Doug Trio, and pressure the Talonflame and the Kyurem Black. So you're going to see right off the bat, it's actually going to be Doug Trio versus the Heliolisk. So, we actually are going to be seeing Choice Scarf Heliolisk go for a Surf on the Doug Trio. Brings it down to its sash, and Doug Trio is going to finish off the Heliolisk with the Earthquake. And now you're going to be seeing a cool tech, actually. It's going to be the Fortress versus the Doug Trio. Doug Trio's actually going to be packing the HP Fire, so he came prepared for that Fortress. And it was able to 2 KO that thing. And being able to get up the Stealth Rocks versus the Suicune the turn after that. So putting the Swampers in a lot of pressure. They're trying to really come back this match with the Suicune, as the Suicune once again. There was another match between those guys. The Suicune actually burns the Kyurem, and then the Kyurem crits the Suicune on the Fusion Bolt in both games. So, I don't know, just a repeat, which is pretty cool. And once the Suicune went down, it was pretty much over, because Talonflame, doing what it does, clicking Brave Bird, actually finishes up that game.
Yeah, basically GG bird spam towards the end of the game. Yeah, Kyurem Black is one of those offensive threats that you definitely have to watch out for in any metagame. If this was like monotype, if this is just standard OU, even in Uber's metagame, I feel like Kyurem Black and Kyurem White in Uber's metagame, it's really good offensive presence, and you do have to watch out for those. But yeah, Brave Bird was able to pick off the rest of the team. But yeah, there's also another thing to point out, was that the San Antonio Swampers coach, Dallas Boy, is not playing the team. Instead, his assistant coach, Danikey, is playing the team. And I don't know if Danikey is familiar with most of the mods or not, but I mean, from the way he played the game this week, I strongly do feel like he understands the mods understands the majority of the mods, and hopefully he can do better next week with the team. I understand, him picking up the team and stuff, but hey, good game. Sunkerns are now leading the conference, and the Swampers are now, I believe, second in the conference. I do not know for sure. I'm bad with numbers, so yeah. Like I said, I got a degree in math, but I didn't get a degree in counting. So let's be honest. How about we go into the next match this week? And this match is going to be the Arizona Carvanas versus the Florida for Alligators. This matchup was a head-to-head smasher for the Arizona Carvanas. This matchup basically meant, hey, are we going to stay undefeated, or oh no, we lost to some Gators. And unfortunately, the team with all the hacks that should have been hacking out teams left and right got hacks out this week, which is quite sad. I'm quite crying about it a little bit. There's, you know, a tier 2 drops on my guitar. Please do not copyright claim us for that saying, but yeah. Basically what happened was the Carvanas, they played decently for the most part. The matchup wasn't strongly in their favor, but there were some notable plays that they did make, such as, you know, not keeping Rotom Heat, even though Rotom Heat wouldn't matter that much because the choice scarf, I believe it was, or it was leftovers, excuse me. You know, letting the Rotom Heat go down so early was one of the iffy things that happened. The speed tie with Jirachi and Manaphy, and Jirachi losing both speed ties, yeah, that's kind of bad. I feel for you, don't worry, I lose speed ties all the time. Other things like the Superior, instead of going for Leaf Storm on the predicted Encore, instead he went for Synthesis for longevity. Yeah, it's a Superior, so I mean, you made well done of what had happened before. You know, you played what was in front of you, and you played what you thought was going to come out, and overall, the Arizona's Carvanas, they did try to make plays coming back, such as the Assault Vest, Mirror Coat, Max HP, Max Special Defense, Blastoise, you know, with the Mirror Coat, trying to catch the Manectric off guard so we can get a kill, and then a combination of Blaziken plus Garchomp, which were the 2 mons left, should have been able to clean up the rest of the team, but sadly, the Manectric does get a high roll on the Blastoise and just kills it, which is quite sad. But there's also notable things for the Florida for Alligators, having sturdy weakness policy Regirock coming through. That was a very, like, oh shit moment right there. Like, really, I was like, wow. I really thought he would be the Rindo. No, not Rindo. It's like Hebinberry or whatever, the grass resist berry. But instead, he was the weakness policy set, which is really cool, and that's really great. I strongly did like the creativity, such as the Salic Berry on the Manaphy, which got a lot of kills this week, 4 kills. Ooh. But yeah, it was a really good game overall.
Yeah, for sure, man. And you know, the Arizona Carvanas, they're going to be bouncing back, even though there was a little bit of hacks in there. But it shouldn't really do too much in the long scheme of things. So yeah, so we're going to be bouncing to the Sydney Sharpedos, 4-0, looking very, very hot, versus the Detroit Lightbirds, who's just trying to snag their first win. And so they're going to be rocking with the Conkeldurr, Heatran, Umbreon, Mega Glade, Gliscor, and Thundurus versus the Weavile, Mega Pinsir, Mew, Stunfisk. Oh yeah, Stunfisk doing his thing. Elmomola and the Whimsicott. So, you know, one thing that has really put a lot of success with Dylan this season is his prep, as you see throughout this whole match. Now, immediately, he leads off with the Fisk, and he actually leads off Mew versus Thundurus. Mew, you don't really know what to do. You can't really switch out versus Mew. You don't want to stay in versus Mew because you don't know what it's going to do. So Mew, doing whatever role it needs to do, is able to weaken the Thundurus, and then, you know, Fisk always being a safe switch in because they can take any hit from anything. Goes in the Fisk and ensures his rocks are going to be there to stay for the remainder of the game, which is going to pressure the Thundurus and just overall self-rock damage across the field. Another cool tech that we did see is that you know, throughout the match, the Weavile takes out the Thunderous after the Thunderous gets its Citrus Berry. And yeah, the Weavile actually gets Thunder Waved as it actually gets Pursuit Trapped by the Weavile. Now, you know, the Weavile easily could have went for the Ice Shard, preventing, you know, such Thunder Waves, but Dylan just wanted to make sure the Thunderous was Pursuit Trapped, and so he went off with that, and he was really trying to set up for the Mega Pinsir Sweep. There was only one turn of hacks that I really saw that was a little bit annoying, which was Cypher did have Choice Scarf Heatran, and he actually was Choice Scarf Toxic. And interesting set. I understand the thought process of Choice Scarf Heatran because it ensures the outspeed on the Mega Pinsir, and I don't know, very, very cool, interesting thing, but because he actually misses a Toxic versus the Almamola, he has to go for it again, which causes Almamola to get that knockoff, which, you know, really ensures the Mega Pinsir Sweep later in the game. You know, so back again with the prep of Dylan and the Sydney Sharpedos, Whimsicott doesn't just have Prankster, it also has the Infiltrator ability, as Mega Glade actually sets up a substitute versus a lot of the bulkier mons. Like, it can easily set up a sub versus Stunfisk or this or that, so the Mega Glade sets up the sub as Dylan decides to go hard into the Whimsicott and hits him with a Moonblast right through the sub. And that was very, very cool to see. And then from there wasn't really a lot of mons that could actually handle the Mega Pinsir after the Thunderous goes down. The Heatran's item gets knocked off, and the only hope to check the Mega Pinsir is the Umbreon with Foul Play that can just kind of whittle it down. But once again, Dylan, knowing what's up, he actually has Bulk Up Mega Pinsir, and that allows him to not only get the offensive boosts to easily one-shot or 2 KO mons, it actually gets the defensive boosts, so Foul Play isn't going to destroy it like a Swords Dance would. And yeah, I mean, it was a Mega Pinsir Sweep from there. So, you know, Dylan just continuing to ravish this team, teams week by week. So, yeah, I mean, was that not an exciting game or what?
Yeah, that was really, really exciting, especially when it came down. Basically, towards the end, when Bulk Up Mega Pinsir was like, "Hi, how you doing?" Questionable things like the Toxic on Heatran, yes, I understand. You know, I personally understand because I did bring a Choice Scarf Swampert one time, and I was facing up against, you know, bulky, especially defensive mons, and I carried a Seismic Toss on it because I thought, oh, Seismic Toss, man, that'll give me that fixed damage, so if I get it low enough, I can Choice Scarf Seismic Toss, which, I mean, like I said, it ended up working out for me in the end, but sadly, for Heatran this time, it didn't work out. And then, yeah, always remember that Whimsicott is a monster when it comes to basically its speed tier and what it can do, because Infiltrator is one of its very good abilities. I prefer using Infiltrator over Prankster 9 times out of 10, but that's a personal preference, as I am a Monograss type player. I mean, I do believe that the Prankster set is so much, it's highly outclasses the Infiltrator set, but when you can get a Memento off on a Mon that is up behind a sub, yeah, it's a really nice thing to see a lot. And then yeah, it was a really good match, hyper offensive, and it didn't take that long, so it was really nice.
Yeah, so we're going to be going into the next game with another fill-in for the Austin Toros. Rob is not going to be playing this game, but he will be coming back in future games. So he has the Mega Pinsir, Nidoqueen, Latios, Greninja, Arcanine, and Seismitoad versus the Brisbane Breloom with the Victini, Cloyster, Sneasel, Mega Diancie, Cresselia, and Empoleon. So this is something to keep in mind if you're playing in a league format match. It is very good to know who you're actually facing, because you can understand their thought processes when building, and you can also know, what kind of play style they tend towards too, and what mons they like to use more than others. And the Breloom, I think, did struggle a lot this match with that, because there was actually a time in the match where Victini was going to go for game. So straight off with the match, you did see a physical Dragon Dancing Latios, which is, Latios, I don't know how I feel about the leftovers, maybe having a Lumberry for Scalds on the Empoleon, or, maybe Life Orb, maybe Expert Belt, maybe even Natural Gift, Yachi Berry, or, something like that, even though that specific set wouldn't work too well. But DD Latios starts going in, and, the Breloom definitely want to make sure, I want to get up my rocks as soon as possible to set up with this Victini sweep. And Empoleon, after, getting up rocks, it's just trying to sack itself to go into the next mon, Sneasel, to Pursuit Trap it. And unfortunately, there was kind of it was a roll, and the roll did not go in the favor of the Breloom. He actually tries to Pursuit Trap the Lottie. The Lottie barely lives on 1 or 2 HP, depending on, Showdown, doing the damage rolls there. Which caused a lot of unnecessary damage on the Sneasel. And then from there, the Mega Scizor revenges the Sneasel, which allows the Victini, the win condition, to come in. So Victini comes in, it clicks Flame Charge, which is, something you don't see. When I prepare a lot for Victini, I want to make sure that I have mons that revenge it after the V-Create drops. But when you see it's speeding up, now it can get very, very scary. So from there, it's pretty much good game for the most part, except the Toro so confidently actually switches into the Nidoqueen. The Nidoqueen was actually fully specially defensive, barely being able to lift a Psychic, and the Breloom's not wanting to risk their win condition, decide, you know what, I do have the Flame Charge up, so my speed is up, I don't want to risk my win condition, I'm actually going to switch out, and so the Nidoqueen actually is able to get up Toxic Spikes, and hazards start going up on that side of the field. So when the Victini later comes in, it's now having to take Toxic Spike damage and Stealth Rocks, which means it can't really sweep anymore. And so after a couple mons actually get knocked out, there's a one last shot with maybe Shell Smashing up with Cloyster. Cloyster is able to get up a Shell Smash. Surf the Mega Scizor, doing a lot of damage to it, but the Scizor actually just going for 2 bullet punches and being able to knock out the Cloyster, which means it's last mon Cresselia versus Mega Scizor. Now, Palm is a very, very good player. The Breloom, knowing what they're doing, I just do not agree with the play of going for a Calm Mind versus the Mega Scizor being at 8 or 7%. It was at a very, very low percentage. I think it was at like maybe 6%. And I think, your only play at that point in time is maybe you can get a crit. If you can get a crit Psyshock, you can probably 1v1 the last mon Greninja. And, obviously, if you're banking on getting a crit, you probably lost the game. But, I don't know. It's still a chance. And, unfortunately, you couldn't come through, even though the Victini was pretty good win con. Because of the hazards, it wasn't able to redo what it originally did after the Flame Charge. But it was a very, very good effort on both sides. So
yeah, it was a very good effort on both sides. That's definitely true. You know, with all the people that are now not rejoining, but all the new people that are subbing in for coaches this week, you guys can see a trend where basically they have a hard time understanding the team for the most part. But for this instance, this is not one of those things. This is more of it, basically Abe having a hard time adapting to his new team that he did draft around, messed around a little bit, and now instead of having a really good matchup against the Austin Toros, Abe this time had a meh matchup, and basically that's how I see it, as basically the not knowing your opponent, even though you've watched your opponent play for a while, because this being a substitute definitely is it's one of those mind-boggling time chamber type deals. You know, it's like, oh, cool, I'm like Goku, I go into the hyperbolical time chamber, I train there for like 2 minutes, which is like 5 days or whatever, inside the chamber or whatever, and then after that, oh, I come out and I thought, oh, my opponent is this, when actually my opponent is someone else, and I didn't prep for that well. So that's how I kind of see how this game kind of went out, because play styles are definitely different. But yeah, it was a very good game. Shout out to Austin Toros and sub, which I strongly do not remember his name right now, but it will dawn on me as soon as like we end recording, which is going to be very, very crazy. But yeah. Alright, so the next match that we're going to be talking about is the St. Louis Resharams versus the Boston Bee-Doos. And now this matchup was a very cool matchup, I personally believe. But what happened before, and if you guys have not seen the videos or anything, there was a DC in the middle of the original match where the Boston Bee-Doos strongly won after some hacks, some misplays on the St. Louis side, but because of the DC, you know, Matty Brawley was like, hey man, look, you won, I'll give you the win. And Bee-Doof and his Boston Bee-Doos, he was basically like, he was like Danganronpa, man, all up in that despair right there, and he just couldn't bring himself up to accept the easy win. And instead of doing that, basically what happened was that they decided on having a rematch. But since Bee-Doof didn't think that he had enough time to think of more creative sets as he did beforehand, and as other things, personal things that are coming up, he decided to let one of our minors coaches taking control of his team for the rematch, which is Parker. And Parker played the team pretty well. There was certain things that Bee-Doof and Parker both brought, such as toxic spikes on Mega Beedrill. Now, I don't know if these guys like did like the whole Yu-Gi-Oh thing where they all drew on their hands together and like believe in the heart of the cards, because oh my lord, both of them bringing toxic spike Beedrill, and that was just something. That was something. Also having Channeler being Hex Channeler, which is really cool to have, basically see. There was some quote-unquote misplaying around for the Boston Bee-Doof side, such as going for an SD on a Registeel that you know it outspeeds and everything. Yes, predicting, making a very aggressive play right there, praying that he switches out, but 9 times out of 10 I would most likely Sacred Sworded there, because he was below, I think it was 6-4, or no, it was 5-4 at that moment. Basically, Man and Buzz just dropped, and it was quite sad. It was one of those sad moments where you know you play a little sad song in the background, and you're just like, why? Why are you eating ice cream out of a bowl? So, you know, it was one of those moments. But in the end, basically, Manic Brolic was able to pull out victory and maintain his perfect, 100% win streak for this season so far in the regular season. Either way, it was a very good game. I especially like the Bidoo's. I like Bidoo's match a lot more because Bidoo's had a lot more understanding of the team, but Parker, he didn't have a lot of understanding of the team, but he still basically went out there, gave it his all, and hey, it's a 3-0 loss. 3-0 is better than a 6-0, and he also stopped Mega Gardevoir from getting a whole lot of kills, so I have to give you props on that, Parker. But yeah.
And it really sounded like you were talking from personal experience when you were talking about the ice cream scooping from a bowl, just crying yourself to sleep. Does that sound like that happens a little bit too much to you?
Yeah, it kind of does. Only on the weekends. Yeah. Alright, so our next match is going to be the Toronto Star Raptors versus the New York McTangs. And Jolt. He brought...
Oh, you Jolt.
He brought stall. Literally, he stalled out the rest of the game. I literally... Semi-stall, it's alright, I guess, but Jolt... What happened to your team? What happened to Nose Pass? Really, bring Nose Pass back, okay? Forget Aerodactyl.
Come on, Jolt. Jolt, you scumbag.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Like, he just... man. This is one of those things that just hurts my head. Looking at what changes Jolt made to his team. Yes, he lost 2 in a row. Yes, he made some executive decisions and got rid of some Mons. But Jolt. This team that Jolt brought was just nasty. It was bulky. It was slow. It's not the stereotypical Jolt team as you expect it to be. I mean, yes, it was really bulky. It was really offensive, but it just didn't have that Jolt vibe, and it's kind of quite scary. The New York McTames were played by Water and Grass, aka Bidoof. And watching basically Bidoof play around with these mons, it was very, I don't know how to say it, very weird, as Bidoof kind of didn't feel like a Water and Grass, did not feel, the way looking at the match, it looks like he didn't know exactly what the mons did. There was a point where basically maybe Venusaur won as long as Thunderous T was not alive, and sadly Thunderous T did go down early game actually, which is pretty weird, seeing a Thunderous T go down so early. But seeing Steelix have Fire Fang, and I don't know, this match was very awkward to watch in a way, as you see Jolt and his nice, kind of balanced offensive team that he had in weeks 1 through 4, where, he had, maybe a little bit of bulk on the side, which is very nice. I mean, I do like my 3-course meals, definitely. I'm a hobo, so yes, 3-course meals are great. But now he's more fat, he's cooking with a lot more lard, and I just don't like how Jolt's team has turned. Now, everybody could be a hater, and right now, comment below, Jolt's team's not fat, Jolt's team, whatever, I don't care. Carnie's a dumb butt, I understand, but it was just weird to see what Jolt's team has done now, where basically he was able to, quote-unquote, stall out the rest of the game versus the New York McTains. Do you have any comments, questions, concerns about that?
Jolt is a disgusting man, and yeah, I think his opponent should have prepared for Mega Venusaur a little bit more, though, and realizing, he's got a Mega Venusaur, we gotta kill it somehow.
Yeah, basically that summed up. Okay, that's what happens. Alright, in the next match we're going to be looking up at is the Atlanta Barriers versus the New Jersey Dwebbles. And, okay, shout out to my boy Cloud Envy. And if you guys watch his side of this thing, man, he's chilling, he's eating dinner, he's just relaxing, and that is something that I love about basically this matchup, because this matchup was heavily not in his favor. But oh no, the phone is ringing. But in the end, it was a very nice match. There's certain things that I freaking loved about this match, especially coming from the Dwebble side, such as the Venusaur, Power Whip Venusaur. It was, I don't know why, like, physical Venusaur to me was so shocking, but in the long run it meant a whole lot, such as, you know, basically he didn't have reliable recovery or anything like that. You know, he was offensive chlorophyll physical Venusaur, which is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was really nice to see. Also, Ninetales having foul play, like, hello? Who thinks of these sets? Literally. I mean, I really want to go inside Cloud Envy's mind right now and just, you know, poke around to see what's in there, because, yeah, I mean, he brought some pretty cool sets. It was really nice to see. Also, now let's not talk about Trev, because Trev brought some really cool sets too. He brought the Masquerain. Like, this man went straight out of Kanto, went into Johto, became the finest, the Pokemon Master, okay? Then he hopped a ship all the way to Hoenn, and then just, man, this man just picked up himself a Masquerain, intimidating everywhere. It literally did nothing, but hello, he still got it. It was a very good mon to bring, as that was really cool to see. The Hobo having substitute plus nasty plot scared the pants off of me. Hippowdon having the Happenberry, wherever the grass resist berry is, was pretty cool. You know, he literally brought some really good teams. Zard X going down to the Rotomo, I believe that was what it went down to, was pretty cool to see. Seeing a physical Mega Venusaur or physical Venusaur destroy a Hobo, that was cute to see too, man. It was such a really cool matchup. I really do like it. But in the end, the Atlanta Berries did win 3-0, and, you know, it was Sun versus the Sand, and Trev, your team is nasty. You know, I guess all the finesse that, you know, went from Jolt's team went to yours in a way. Now you have Sand in Atlanta, which is scary, because we also have zombies in Atlanta, if you guys watch The Walking Dead, but it's really weird to see. Now we have Sand, but yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, one thing is you have to prepare for Hoopa, and that's exactly what he did for the most part. I believe there was a turn where Trev actually brought a substitute Hoopa and was able to actually get up a sub, and you know, that much power behind a sub where you can't immediately Oko, it can be very, very scary. But when you came through with a physical power whipping Mega Venus or regular Venusaur hitting the Hoopa, that was very, very nice and refreshing to see that you did your team prep and got that Hoopa out of here. But we're going to be heading off to our last game here. We're going to be seeing the Phoenix Sunfloras that are 0-4 versus the Los Angeles Needle King that are 1-3. So if you notice about these two teams, it's in a position, these teams are in a position where they have to start winning now, or they're not going to be able to have a playoff hope. You know, it's not, saying that either of them really have a good chance. It's because they do have a chance, they need to start fighting and need to start fighting now. So, the thing is that they've done a lot of pretty cool team prep, I will say, is, I don't know, maybe a little bit better practicing on how to use the teams that they built. But we start right off the bat is the Mega Medicham versus the Mega Aggron. And Mega Aggron actually can live one high jump kick, which is crazy. But, that's just really saying more about the Mega Aggron bulk. But we got the Protect Mega Aggron specifically for the Mega Medicham. Now, Rizzy actually does a very, very good play in my eyes, for the most part, which it was very risky, but it also was a fine play by itself. So he actually goes for a double edge against the Mega Aggron, predicting the Reuniclus switch in, because for the most part it should be getting to it KO'd, or at least doing a lot of damage to Reuniclus. But he actually goes for a Protect versus Mega Aggron, which means now you can free the high jump kick, and that is exactly what we see. And unfortunately, high jump kick does miss, and if it misses, you take 50% off of your Mega, which that is that's a lot of damage to be taking, and I mean, that really sucks, missing a high jump kick. But we do see the Hacked Gods kind of balancing things out, as Tornadus later in the game does hit a Heat Wave versus the Mega Aggron, and it does get it burned. So, obviously you prefer to see none of that, but it happens. So traditionally in something like the OU tier, you see a lot of water absorbers because you need to have a Volcanion switch in. The only Volcanion switch-ins I ever see, unfortunately, are modest choice specs, which is very powerful, but it gets very repetitive, and Rizzy Powell prepared for that set. Unfortunately, Jellicent gets completely walled as well, vice versa, and unless you have something like an energy ball, which Rizzy Powell was not packing. So what ended up happening was it was a counter team with a substitute bulky Volcanion with Toxic and Protect, Mono Flamethrower as its only attacking move, and so it was able to put in so much work versus Rizzy, because it's bulky, so it can take those Shadow Balls from Jellicent, but it's still incredibly offensive. So later you see Jolteon being able to Volt Switch, break the sub, but that gets predicted by going for another substitute on the Volt Switch. You see the Leftovers getting its health back behind the sub, and Protecting gets that extra Leftovers. So then you see Tornadus trying to break the sub. He goes for Hurricane, misses. Hurricane, misses. Hurricane, you guessed it, missed. And it was just no way for you to come back from missing the Hurricanes, and Volcanion being so hard to switch into alongside to even kill because of its bulk. And Volcanion put in a lot of work, and finally Rizzy Powell is actually able to bring the Volcanion down to a good range of HP. So Rizzy's starting to get back momentum, and later you see Jolteon versus the Reuniclus, and Signal Beam is a fun move. We see Signal Beam Jolteon versus the Reuniclus, which isn't doing a lot of damage, but there is also Calm Minds going on, and Reuniclus actually does get Reuniclus actually does get confused and hits himself 2 times in a row. So Jolteon was able to stop the sweep of Reuniclus with confusing and hitting itself, but it didn't really matter in the long scheme of things, because all all the finishing blows that needed to be done was Scarf Pooped Out to come in and start clicking Choice Scarf, Earthquake to finish off Rizzy Powell's team from there. So, unfortunate hacks with the Hurricane misses, the high jump kicks, but you really saw Danza prepare very, very well with the sub-toxic, bulky Volcanion, just putting in the finest of work.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it more better than you did, but yeah, basically, Volcanion put in the finest of work, and Rizzy Powell is now 0-5, so we can definitely tell who is the superior Phoenix team at the moment. Just very, very nice, I guess. Some could say, one would say at least. Cheese. Check out Cheese's diss track at Rizzy Powell. Sure, it won't be linked.
Got that Rizzy Powell. Oh my god, roasted him.
That was something else. Man, okay. So why don't we talk about? Oh, I don't have that. All right, excuse me. So why don't we talk about the MVP race for week 5? Okay. And I am taking my time to pull it up because it's highly unprofessional, guys. I'm very sorry about that. But the MVP race, which is basically you haven't talked about in like a long time, and that's partially because of my fault. But look at the top 5 mons. Megalodios going 4, and going 8-3, coached by the New York Mertens. Pretty cool. Definitely one of the bulkier mons. I personally think that's a very good mon in general. I'm surprised that we allow it in drafted format. Also, we do have
we see the Megalodios in the format, and you see it sometimes banned because there's a lot of redundancy. So you see Latios and Latios on almost all the teams. And the GBA actually has the Megalodios and Megalodios banned because, one, you don't want to see the redundancies of the Lati, and two, the Latis actually somewhat, they do thrive by getting the Megastone because they get the additional bulk, but that means you can't run an item anymore. But then it's good because knockoff, but Megalodios just so bulky to take out, and in good hands and being able to sweep teams. So the next mod we see is Kieran Black. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Kieran Black, greatest thing to hit the OU tier. Like, this thing is 170 base attack. What that means in GBA type leagues like the NPO, it is so good to have on your team because you don't always have to run mixed. A full physical set. Now, you do not, the only thing that hinders Kyurem is it doesn't have that physical ice type, like the Ice School Spears or Ice School Crash, or even Ice Punch or this or that. But Kyurem being, Choice Scarf versus Rizzy Powell going for Choice Scarf Outrages, and it's under very, very good hands with Cheese, and he knows how to use the thing. It comes in, and as we see, 8 kills and 1 death, because it is so bulky as well to try to take out. And Cheese has also been able to get off hazards on his side of the field, making sure that Kyurem doesn't take that additional stealth rock damage. So he definitely knows how to use that thing.
Yeah, Kyurem Black, one of the scary mons. He's only been brought to a few games actually too, so actually it's only been brought to 3 games, and it's number 4. The next mon, which has been brought to all 6 games, is Garchomp. As you can see, Dragons just reign supreme, top 5, 3 through 5. Basically, it's Garchomp. What else should I say? Basically, it has that nice, beautiful feature of basic 102. Or is it 103? I'm pretty sure it's 102. Outspeeds all those Pixie Mons.
It's 102.
Outspeeds all those Pixie Mons. Has a really good attack stat. It's just one of those strong offensive presence lines, and the coach of the Arizona Caravanas, Togobor, has basically showed off how powerful a Garchomp can be at any time, with 10 kills and only 4 deaths.
Yeah, so next is Mega Gardevoir. Now, Mega Gardevoir has been seen in not as many games as Garchomp, but 5 games is still Matty Brawlick's go-to Mega. You see him use this thing in all the time, and I've never seen a Mega Gardevoir used as good as he. So if you really want to know how to use Mega Gardevoir efficiently, either in the OU tiers or in League play, you need to watch Matty Brawlick.
Yes,
If it arguably isn't a... Oh. Alright, so, 10 kills, 3 deaths, and, you know, this thing has been putting in the work. Week 1, came back from, you know, 1 versus 4. This thing is so good, especially behind Matty Brawlick's hands. Very fun mod. Yeah, so, look at that number 1. What do you got to say about that number 1?
The only, the Dragon Slayer, the Mega Gardevoir Slayer. It is Weavile. Oh my lord. I don't even know how Weavile is up here. It's only been brought to 4 games. And Garchomp is one of those mons that's been brought to about every single game. Yeah, it's been brought every single game, and it's just one of those crazy mons. Can't believe Weaviles all the way up on top. I personally hate Weaviles, and if you guys watch my week 1 of the minors, you guys can definitely tell I hate Weaviles. So, you know, it's just one of those high for offensive presence mons. Its dual stab is so golden, being ice and dark. Literally, it might be quad weak to a Mach Punch, but when you have such great speed and such power that a Weavile has, slap a Life Orb on that thing, and it's so scary. And, you know, the Cindy Sharpedos have been doing so well with it, racking up 11 kills with it, and 3 deaths. It's a scary mon. It is the number 1 mon of this MVP race, and yeah, beautiful to say. Alright, so before we kick it off, and I know you really don't want to hear us speak a little bit more, but we're going to go into the Week 6 matches, and let's talk about our first matchup, which is the Arizona Caravanas versus the Cindy Sharpedos. How do you feel this matchup is?
You know, Sydney Sharpedos, how can you ever really bet against them at this point in time? They've shown too much resilience, so much effort in their team building, excellent playing, and I cannot see a team other than Matty Brawlick and the Restaurants being able to beat Dylan and the Sharpedos at this point in time. It's just too powerful.
I don't know. I believe Togobor is going to bounce back from this loss that he had. Definitely, it's Togobor. I've played him multiple times. He's lost multiple times. Not to me exactly, but he's lost multiple times, and you know, he's still a good guy. So I believe that he'll bounce back from this next matchup. All right, the next one's going to be the Atlantic Braveberries versus the Boston Beatles. Yeah. I personally believe that basically the Beatles are going to come out here and they're just going to be like, hey, I got creative sets and I've got spunk and style, and yeah, you're going to lose. GG.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know how Trev's going to do this one because Trev's a very good battler. He's doing okay this season. winning here and losing here. There was no way he was going to win week 1 versus Jolt. Jolt was way too hungry, but for that win. But I think, other than losing to, Jolt, who's a very good player, and losing to Matty Brawk, who is come on, we know who he is. I think the rest of his wins have been very, very solid, and I actually think he could win this game, even though he's changing up his team so much. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad.
I mean,
it's Trev, it's sand offense, yeah.
Personally, I think his team's actually changing for the better. It's highly changing for the better. Now he does have something that Excadrill can abuse right now, which is sand offense. Definitely, his team is rising. Definitely in the scary portion of the late game trades, and that's what trades do, man. Just it makes teams scarier than what they used to be. Alright, then let's talk about the matchup with the Phoenix Sunkerns versus the Los Angeles Nido Kings. I'm a Kern fan all the way. I know, the superior Phoenix team might come back up on top, but Volcanions one of those weird mods that I know the Sunkerns, they have Mega Blastoise, which can kind of check it, but after Mega Blastoise is gone, it's basically, okay, well, what dies to a Volcanion switch in. So, I don't know. I really hope the Kerns can come out on top against the Kings again, but it's all up in the air.
Yeah, I actually think Dan's is going to win this match just because Volcanion, being under Dan's hands, I think, the Mega Blastoise doesn't really answer offensively. Obviously it can switch into its dual stabs, but it doesn't necessarily want to switch into a Steam Eruption, then get burned, and then hit it with a Dark Pulse back, which is a freaking Volcanion that, it's extremely bulky. Volcanion actually could be, some sort of, rest sleep talk set that can be fully defensive and can avoid maybe getting Dark Pulse, can maybe avoid getting 2 or 3 KO'd by the Mega Blastoise, and can be a Talonflame check. It's the only water and fire type that I'm pretty sure it's the only water and fire type that I know of, and it's not really, the only things that really check it are the dragon types, but Kyurem does not switch into fire blasts, especially when they have to switch it out into the rocks. So I actually think Dan's is going to win this one.
Well, I'm a Kern fanboy, so blue cheese all the way. Let's talk about the other Phoenix team and Dallas Boys team, the San Antonio Swamperts. This is actually, I'm going to say it right now, I'm going to make the boldest prediction of my life. I see Riz making his first MPL win this week. Now, you can take my pants and burn them if I'm lying, okay? Because I'll be a liar, my pants will be on fire. But I strongly believe that Riz Z-Pow has the chance, the capability of beating Danakey this week. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
I gotta see Rizzy Powell win a game first. Now, I voted, in my head a lot. I think, Rizzy is a pretty good battler, but I don't think he knows how to use the team that he's drafted. There's a lot of offense with this team, and how he's using it is, clearly he has no idea what he's doing, to be quite frank. He has, so many safety nets he tries to continue to go to, when it's when you got Bisharp, Mega Metachan, Scolipede, I have not seen one time you speed boosting, baton passing into those threats. Come on, Rizzy. I want to see some offense going on. Just 6 offensive mons, hyper offense, get up the rocks, and then just see, no more defensive switch-ins here and there. Just going with Mega Cham. As soon as Meta Cham dies, going to Bisharp, set up a sword stance. That's how I want to see this team be used. And until you use it like that, I don't see you winning.
Man, I don't know, man. It's one of those matchups, man. Like I said, man, you can take my pants and light it on fire. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. But hey, all right. Also, what do you think about the next matchup, which is the Toronto Star Raptors versus the Austin Tauruses?
Until Rob comes back, I really see the future. Well, especially being Joel. Joel was a favorite into the season going forward. He barely lost to Trev due to hacks in the finals. This is Joel. He hasn't been playing as well, or it's more of the team not fitting him, or whatever it may be. He's not the top dog at this point in time, but don't sleep on Joel. I think Joel can definitely beat the Austin Tauros this week. And I think he's starting to somewhat put the pieces that he wants to form in his team. And, Joel, Slimeball Joel, having a bulky team, it's too hard to kill. So I think Jolt's going to win this one.
I agree with you half the way. Yes, I believe the team's going to be hard to kill, but I strongly believe that Austin Tauros can come through. I don't know. I see Mega Scizor, and I look at Jolt's team, and I see half the team is able to withstand a Mega Scizor attack, and I see the other half that's just demolishes, just dies to a Mega Scizor attack. So I don't know. Mega Scizor is going to be one of those mons where it's going to have to be played correctly, and along with some other mons, they're going to have to be all played correctly. But I strongly believe that once Rob comes back, and he's going to be raring to go. He's going to go fist ablazing. He's going to KO punch, little Mac style. And, yeah, that's going to be it. GG. Okay. Alright. Now, we're going to be talking about the New York Metangs versus the Brisbane Braves. What do you think of that one? Because that's a tough match.
I think the Brisbane Breloons are going to win this one. And they kind of got a streak going on for themselves. I do believe that Abe and the Breloons are probably the best playing team. And I know they just lost their last match. I don't think it really means much in the long scheme of things. And this is a team that knows what they're doing in hands of how to play. Maybe if he doesn't effectively team build, it can definitely hurt him. The New York Metangs are definitely capable of winning, but against the Breloons, I don't think they're going to win this one.
Alright. Actually, I'm going to have to agree with you that. I do believe that the Brisbane Breloons, just looking at matchup and everything, just to me personally, they look more capable of winning. But hey, only time can tell. Now we're going to be closing up with our last 2 matches, which is going to be the Detroit Leopards versus the Florida for Alligators. I'm already making a ballsy prediction with Rizzy winning the match, so I'm sorry. Sorry, Cypher. I can't say that, I don't want, my shirt going on fire too, basically, because I know this man. He might light me up alive if I said, oh yeah, take my shirt off, because we're not Matty Brawlick up in here, but,
One of the two of us is Matty Brawlick, but I don't want to...
Yeah, I'm a hobo, let's be honest. But, I do believe that the Feraligators are going to be able to win this matchup. It's not because of history repeating itself. Please, I really do want Cypher to prove me wrong, but hey, I believe that the Feraligators, their playing style and how they go into a match, their mindset is just golden. So I believe that they will come out victorious.
You know, I do like that Detroit, they're definitely trying to show an effort, and they're doing what they need to do to win for, team prep. So in order to not lose to a Mega Pinsir, you end up having a Choice Scarf Heat Ran that can, take a return and can actually sneakily get a kill versus the Mega Pinsir, but you allowed it to get knocked off. You have a lot of 4 times to weaknesses on the team, and because of that, the Florida Feraligators, I think they just have a lot of threats, being the Diggersby that puts a significant amount of pressure on your team, especially because, your golden resist to normal type moves, being Heat Ran, is not a Diggersby switch in. Glacier is not a Diggersby switch in because of Ice Punch. So, between Return, Ice Punch, and Earthquake, you don't necessarily have a switch in, and it's just, alright, what do I sack to Diggersby this play? And yeah, Diggersby is just gonna lighthouse, in my opinion. But who knows? I really hope that Detroit, though, proves me wrong, as you said as well, because we really do try to see the good in, battlers, and, you just never know week by week, so it can go either way.
I mean, shoot, Ashley, back in the day, Ashley, I think it was season 3, when she got her win, I was ecstatic. I was strongly ecstatic. When Razor got his first win, oh my lord, back in season 4, that was a good day, so, they come from behind victories, such as Mr. Richard Nixon and his, Washington Charizard, those comeback victories, we do root for you, but you have to blindside us. You have to pull big and deep this week, and you have to be able to come through. Alright, and our last match that we're going to be talking about is going to be the St. Louis Reshiram versus the New Jersey Dwebbles. I personally think that Maddie's going to flex a little bit, and the Dwebbles are going to be like, hey, I can't do anything about that, and just walk away, give the nice forfeit, because Maddie's team, it doesn't outclass it, because Mega Gardevoir does get stopped by half of the Dwebbles team, but then the other half just dies to things such as the combination of Dragonite and Gengar and things like Tauros and even Mega Gardevoir, if you can get in on the Mega Scizor or on the Drowgy, just destroys things. And I just see Matty Brawlick just going through, doing a couple squats, lifting some weights, calling it a day.
Yeah, so you're going to be seeing a Gardevoir versus a Mega Gardevoir, and Mega Tyranitar. The thing is that Mega Tyranitar does have, as well as Tyranitar, has a lot of common weaknesses, but Mega Tyranitar actually can live a Hyper Voice from a Mega Gardevoir, as crazy as that is, because Mega Gardevoir can one-shot most things, but it cannot actually one-shot a fully spin up Mega Tyranitar. Another thing you see is Gengar's a huge threat, but it can actually also live a Focus Blast from a Life Orb Gengar if it's absolute fully Spadef. Another big threat to the Reshiram's team is the Rotom, because it can, it can check the Don Fan, the Slow Bro, and just, check the Infernate. And it's just very annoying to try to slow it down because it just always clicks Bolt Switch and creates momentum back into the game, along with you turning Scizor. Scizor also being an extremely problematic mon. Like, if it's choice banded Scizor can put a lot of damage, because if the Infernate gets weakened, it can take out the Infernate if it's heavily weakened, plus if it's not bulky at all. And the only thing you really gotta watch out for is the Magnezone if he brings it, because if you cannot hard switch a Magnezone in onto a Scizor because of superpower, because of U-turn. And I'm actually gonna say the Reshiram's actually are going to lose this one, because he's won too many games and you gotta slip sometime, right? Like, I think he's gonna lose this one. I don't know. I got that feeling.
Hopefully we're not talking about nip slips, but yeah, maybe he might. But that's gonna wrap it up for this week of the weekly recap. So I hope you guys did enjoy this. Sorry for it being a little bit longer than normal, but we had to cover up for week 4 and all the other weeks to come. So until next time, this is your boy Carney Hobo.
This is IronFlashGaming. Have a good night, evening, breakfast, whatever you're doing, and stay sexy. Alright, peace, guys.